Hey, Jeff Burton, this is Wally in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's far good.
Yeah, you want to get that pit road speed really, really get down, don't you?
Yeah, it's really important. You know, if you don't get down there fast enough, they all leave you. If you get down there too fast, you get penalized. So you got to make sure you get it right.
How about your car tonight? I know, the best time to be in the car is now. I mean, you think about the chase all week long when you're out of the car, but when you start the engines, you're ready to go. You got a good race car tonight?
I think your Chevrolet is pretty good. Yeah, this is the best time of the week. I've not felt very good this week. Every time I roll over in my car, I feel good, so I'm glad to be in here.
Lights are out on the pace car. A flat, fast, smooth 2-mile track. 500 miles here in California. Start in the sun and end up under the bright lights of Hollywood. The green flag's in the air. NASCAR is racing. Strong start by Kurt Busch.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, obviously you want to, if you're in that position to lead, go ahead and do it. I mean, because it's really important to have clean air on your car. This is one of those racetracks where you'll see a lot of drafting on the straightaways, but you'll see these cars spread out in the corners because you don't want to get that into that aero situation in the corner. So you see guys they get to the corners and they all fan out. They're all looking for that air, for that downforce. Push those Goodyear tires down to the racetrack and get some grip.
Scott Riggs is stuck in that high groove, getting passed on the inside. That's Truex Jr. going by him. You see the colors on the ticker. Green indicates guys that are in the chase. The yellow, the guys on the bubble, like Casey Kane in 11. The red, drivers eliminated, but are still racing for the win here in California tonight. Jr. up to fourth. Pit road report on Jeff Burton from Allen Bester.
Bill, Jeff Burton, very loose, very relaxed when I talked with him earlier this afternoon. He's had some troubles finishing races the last couple of weeks, not falling out of them, but running up front, leading laps. Wow, that was close. And not being able to get the win. It's been a long dry spell. Burton says they think they understand what their issue's been in the final laps of races. They hope to come away with the big trophy tonight.
Scott Riggs has his hands full.
Well, he did after Burton took the air off the spoiler. And like I said, it's one of those places where everything is very aero-dependent. You can get underneath the guy. We saw a lot of loose race cars last night. This track right now is slippery, and I mean, you'll see a lot of guys being loose right now. Look at how bad the sun is going into 3. That's what these guys are fighting. It's out of Jeff Burton's car, and what you do is you have a clear visor on your helmet, and then you put these dark tear-offs on. So it's like having a smoked visor, but when it gets dark and you get those visors off, you'll have a clear visor.
There's Riggs in the 10, Casey Kane right behind him, Matt Kenseth in the 17 on the inside.
And you're drafting here. I mean, straightaways are long, it's fast. If you've got 3 or 4 cars that are lined up on the outside and you're the only guy on the inside, you're not going to pass them. You're going to get past.
You talk about the engine builders on the countdown to green. The wind here blowing down the front stretch from turn 4 to turn 1. That's where you turn the most RPM. They're really going to be hustling down the front stretch, going into the wind down the back stretch.
Yeah, you look at the RPMs, a lot of RPMs. They don't really drop in the corners. So you're, like I said, you're getting out of the throttle, but you're carrying so much speed here. You're always up there in the RPMs. You got something on 24, Matt?
Well, you see him running in line there, Wally. Now, he, like a lot of other drivers, he's got those dark tear-offs on his windshield. You see him dive to the bottom. Now, the big thing about tonight, Steve Letarte told me, they just need to keep their car in contention until the sun goes down. Then they feel like it's game on from that point on. And keep in mind, Gordon has 3 wins in the Coca-Cola 600, a similar type race where we start out in the daylight and then we go into the darkness. He seems to excel at a place where you've got to stay ahead of the racetrack.
All the practice here for the Nextel Cup Series was done much earlier in the day as opposed to the start time for this race.
I'm just pointing out, look at the hood of the 17 car, right where the W is. It's like it's sucked down around the air cleaner. I don't really see that on a lot of the other cars, but you could really notice it when it's down on when it's coming down the straightaway. See if we can get a better shot when it comes down the straightaway. So see, it'll be sucked down right on the W. See how it's sucked down on the air cleaner? Kind of strange.
That gives him more front down for it.
Hey, they running pretty good. 10th spot right now.
More on Kenseth from Dave Burns.
And interestingly, Wally, when they were going through tech today, they were banging on the front end of that with the hammer. Apparently NASCAR didn't like something they saw with the valence there. A lot of guys tried to go through there with a little extra kick out on the front end, but they did have to modify it just a little bit before they were allowed to compete today.
Yeah, it looks like the hood's just really thin. You can see it popping up and down. Running pretty good, like I said. There's Jeff Gordon took that spot away from Kenseth.
They did all their practicing at a time much different than the hours the race was going to be held at. A lot of guys in the garage were very upset about the practice schedule here as opposed to the race. These guys really don't know what they've got because they haven't been on this track under these conditions.
Yeah, I don't even know why they have a practice session in the middle of the afternoon, and there's a lot of guys did not run that practice session because the track temperatures were going to be 25, 30 degrees hotter than what they were going to be racing. Hey, let me tell you something. That completely changes the handle of your car, Alan.
And Bill, that's exactly the message of Kenny Francis, the team director for Casey Kane, told me today when I talked to him about if he was able to anticipate changes he would be able to make to his car as the sun set. He said, we literally have no idea what to expect tonight. We're just hoping we make the right adjustments. He feels like with his car's handling, as the sun goes down, it's going to lose rear grip. And that's what they're going to be planning for, but he said, really, we don't know.
One driver said it was like looking at a golf course in the middle of the night, then having to tee off the next morning when the sun was out, not knowing what you were going to get. Robbie Gordon has spun.
Stay right there where you're at.
In front of a lot of cars.
Sure did.
Looks like he's got a left rear flat, but we can't tell if that happened during the spin or before the spin. Doesn't look like he hit anything, though.
Says he has a left rear flat, so he heads down pit road. First caution of the race. Fuel mileage is always a huge factor here at California. Only 9 laps complete. And we'll see how the guys up front are going to play it. They're more than likely to stay out, but the guys at the back will come for fuel.
You can see that there was the center section of the tire ripped off, like Yaley's tire last time, the Busch car. He may have made contact with somebody that ripped that tire. A lot of guys do a good job missing that. A lot of times if you rub up against a guy, it'll slice the side of that tire, and then the center section will just come right off. It'll rip right off the tire.
So Robbie on and off of pit road. Kurt Busch is the race leader, Earnhardt Jr. second, Brian Vickers, Denny Hamlin, Clint Bowyer the top 5. They work down the long backstretch here under caution. Been a frustrating year for Kurt Busch. I was surprised to hear him say that they weren't disappointed they didn't make the chase, and a lot of that's been going on in the garage this week, and the drivers are telling you one thing, but it's really what they're not saying and what they're feeling that you have to read into their comments and their quotes.
Trust me, they're disappointed, but what he's trying to do is say, okay, hey, listen, we didn't make the chase, so we're going to make the best of it. We're going to try some things between now and the end of the year and come out, Daytona swinging.
So they'll experiment during this race, so when they run here in California early next year, hopefully they'll have a strong run and put themselves in a good position early in the season. Pit road is open, and everybody coming. Marty.
Bill Ryan Newman started 12th. He's made his way up to the 9th position. The car's a little bit tight when he gets back to the gas. Now, these guys, like an NFL team, have named their pit stops. The play called now is called Cage Fighter. 4 tires, no changes to the chassis, though, for the 12th car. Dave?
2 tires on the right side for Matt Kenseth. They're going to try that early, see if it works. He also wants a track bar adjustment. His car is loose. Matt.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car started 6th, currently in the 2nd position. No changes for Jr. Says the car is neutral and likes it. AB.
Kurt Busch's team has already made an adjustment to the crossweight on their car, feeling like they might give up a little track position with teams taking 2 tires. Looks like they might have had a little trouble on that stop. Cost them a couple of spots.
Denny Hamlin is focused right now on the high side for the lead.
Kyle Busch on the low side. They split Jeff Gordon, and he falls back to 4th and may lose that position. Top 17 cars did not pit. Matt.
Nothing on the radio about the restart, Bill. Just during the caution, he said the car is still loose. Looking at the track temperature has come down, but the track hasn't tightened up, which is the usual trend here in Fontana.
Boy, he's in the way right now. Busch leads. Kane in the 9, Hamlin 3rd in the 11.
They are stacked up
Right back in
there.
Yes.
From about 4th on to 40th. They're scrambling.
Bobby Labonte and Jeff Green are racing for the lucky dog. These guys are racing for the lead. Casey Kane, believe it or not, in the high groove. More on the leaders from Allen.
Bill, you talk about some guys who are very hungry for a win tonight. Casey Kane has 4 wins already this season, but his last win was back in June, and they've been through a very difficult summer, which is what has them on the bubble for making the chase. As for Kyle Busch, he won a race in July in New Hampshire, but it's been his only win of the season so far. He feels like he might have given a couple away during this season. He wants win number 2 here tonight. So far, he's running very well.
Comes in off the win last night in the Busch Series race. As they run now.
Still pretty tight back there. 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Casey's cut that margin in half from 90 down to 43. Jeff Gordon, the 24, Earnhardt Jr. trying to get around him. Matt.
Trying to work his way back up to the point, Bill. Fell from 1st down to 6th. All he said on the radio was the car just picked up a tremendous push when I went down into turns 1 and 2, and he had to wait on the throttle, thus allowing everyone else to work their way around him.
And he was strong when he was in front, but right now back in traffic, he's got his hands full.
Yeah, they're just stacked up on top of each other right now. We talked about it earlier. You want all the air you can on your car. And right now, in this traffic, it's hard to get all that grip in traffic that you had when you're out there out front by yourself.
Jeff Burton, that 31 car, trying to step out of line and make a move, looking back from Gordon. The guys in the garage, but you know it'd be a huge relief for Gordon to lock himself in here so we don't have to think about it next week, especially as frustrating as 2005 was.
Yeah, I mean, you could, like I said, the pressure on this week, but it's even going to be worse at Richmond.
Right, that's why, yeah.
I mean, so you're right. If they can come out of this race comfortable, anybody for that matter, it's going to be a lot more fun for them next week at Richmond.
At the hotel earlier this week, and he goes, yeah, if we can lock in, I can finally sleep for the first time this summer. Crew chiefs thinking about it all the time. Burton in that 31 car behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. Allen
trying to pick his way back toward the front, Bill. Jeff Burton started in 7th spot. Remember, he moved up in the opening laps of this race, then fell back when the car's handling went away. He said, we lost our ability to turn in the center of the corner. The crew made some adjustments on the last pit stop, including air pressure out of both left side tires. And Burton seems to like those adjustments. He's moving back forward, Dave.
And Alan, I want to touch on something that Bill mentioned earlier, the fact that these guys practiced in the heat of the day all weekend and just now are getting into a different type of situation with the track temperatures here. Robbie Reiser, the crew chief for Matt Kenseth, told me we just are starting from basically square one at the start of this race. We have a setup that we think will work, but we'll be adjusting on it all night long, and you've heard all the adjustments that we've been talking about down here. It's who can work the best from a clean piece of paper at the start of this race, Bill.
Hey, Dave, you be careful with Robbie Reiser. He's been pretty grumpy this weekend. Have you noticed that?
I haven't spent a lot of time around him, so maybe that's just as well.
Wise move on your part. During practice here on Saturday, Matt told him he needs an attitude adjustment. Robbie just small little grin, then went right back to work trying to keep his team focused now that they've already clinched a spot in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Burton and Earnhardt. Burton is 6th, Earnhardt 7th. On board with Earnhardt, looking at Burton. And you and I were talking about this last week after the race. You look at Bristol and you look at Indianapolis, where Jeff Burton had a car that you really thought was going to win the race, and then, you know, the last quarter or so of the race really wasn't competitive.
Yeah, it seemed like when they came in for the last pit stop to cap it off, to cap the win off, they disappeared.
And Burton told me yesterday, he said in both those races, the car just got so tight and they couldn't get the tightness out of it, and the more they worked on it, the worse it got. Alan, that's similar to what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Bill, I had a similar conversation with Jeff Burton this morning. The one thing he wanted to point out, he said at Indianapolis, our car's handling was tight. No front end grip. He said because we were out front all day, we were able to hide that from everybody. But when we got shuffled back in traffic by some 2-tire pit stops, it unveiled a flaw in our car. He said at Bristol, we really aren't sure what happened to us there. And he said, I don't want anybody blaming my crew chief that he couldn't make the right adjustment at the end of this race. We're just not sure what happened in that one. Matt?
Alan, the A team hoping that their problems are gone. First they had issues with their radio. Then Junior said they had a vibration. Hasn't said much about that lately. But the one thing about this team, Junior said he felt like last week at Bristol was their defining moment. They went from 40th and they finished 3rd. Escaping all those minefields. Now he just wants to have one of those nights here in Fontana, score a win, and then go into next week with a little bit of a cushion so as to not have to depend on what could happen on that bull ring that decides his fate. Right now, he is running solid in the 6th position, trying to run down Tony Stewart in 5th.
These two drivers want to cement their spot. And while this goes on for 6th, there's some rather aggressive and intriguing racing going on.
I'm telling you what, this is like 20 or 26, but it's great stuff. These guys are running side by side, 3 abreast. They're all over the racetrack. These guys are running as hard back here as the guys up front are.
And Rick started it up near the front in the 4th position after finishing 4th last week. He dropped right to the back at the beginning of the race. But there has been some aggressive racing back there, and they're really fanning out when they go through the turns. You've been watching this bunch, Alan?
How'd you like to be a crew chief who said his goal for the day was for his driver not to hit anything, and see your car back there in the middle of that?
Good luck.
Yeah, that's the story for Kurt Busch and Roy McCauley. Made some adjustments on the last pit stop. Kurt said it's a little bit better, Dave.
And Scott Riggs thought he had a much better race car than it showed. He was up in the, stayed up in the top 10. Bill, as you mentioned, he started well up in this race, but then fell back with a very loose race car after the 2nd pit stop. They've been working their way back on that. He's only made his way up to 17th.
Casey Mears is back there. I really thought he'd have a strong run here tonight. Mears is back there. Reed Sorensen in the 41.
Well, this racetrack, I mean, don't count them out yet. I mean, this racetrack may come to some of these guys. If they're really, really loose right now, yep, they're holding on. As long as you're in the lead lap here in Fontana and you can stay there, this racetrack is going to change a lot. And you're going to see guys in the front all of a sudden disappear, and then we're going to see guys in this pack somewhere that are going to be up front before this race is over.
30 cars on the lead lap, and there's 151 laps to go. So you got time to work on them.
Oh,
Marty,
yeah.
what are you watching?
Well, Bill, I was wondering if Wally read the playbook for the 42 team. That's exactly what they're talking about. You know, they've been loose this entire time fighting no rear grip, but they think the racetrack will come to them later. This racetrack is going to A, get tighter, and B, the racetrack is going to cool down. That should add more grip to the racetrack, and that's what Casey loves, a little more grip in the racetrack.
Thanks, Marty.
There's Mark Martin right now. He's sliding back. He went across the stripe there in 17th spot.
You have to believe he's really hoping when the sun set.
Marty, did they make the wrong move, or is that radio just bugging him?
No, he made some contact with someone, Wally, and damaged the right front fender a little bit. They had a little bit of a fender rub. Mark said also the car is extremely loose right now. Quite a handful.
And right now, Mark Martin, 10th in the championship standings, only 26 points ahead of Casey Kane. Earnhardt for 5th around Tony Stewart. Jr. trying to march to the front. More on the 8 from Matt.
Bill, similar issues for the 8 of Dale Jr. and the 20 of Tony Stewart. Jr. says his car just sliding the nose terribly from the center off. That's exactly what Stewart was saying about the 20 machine as well. Just no grip in the front.
Casey Kane drives car 9. Started 9th. Last time he started 9th was at Charlotte in a race that began during the day and ended under the lights. Casey Kane continues to lead as we stay under green at California by 2.3 seconds over Jeff Gordon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs 3rd, 5 seconds behind the race leader, but there could be a development on this 9 car, Alan.
Well, Bill, we were just noticing that white piece on the middle of the grill on this Casey Kane car. And on these cars, when you block off that small opening, sometimes it causes heating problems. I just spoke with team director Kenny Francis just a second ago. He said the debris has been there for a while. The temperature on the car is fine.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get behind that car and try to draft off and get the air coming off that 25 car. Would have cleaned that grill. See, there's more stuff flying up there now. So Depot virtual garage, and I'll kind of show you what's going on here, what happens. Got the opening in the front of the car. That's obviously how it cools the car down. The air's coming through. What happens is when they start picking up, when you got tape on there, and when you're taped up like this, you're getting downforce on the front. But when garbage covers up the little opening that you have to cool the car, it overheats. And that's the problem that Casey Kane may have if that doesn't fly. Now, last night in the Busch race, you see how much trash he had on the grill, and they got it off during a pit stop, but the water was up to 250 degrees. You can't run these cars 250 degrees very long before the engine will blow out or start spitting water out. So I don't know what his temperature is. That's not a lot of trash.
But you don't want any more.
You don't want any more. And you can get that off. If you get behind a guy and you go back and forth, if you get on this bumper and you turn left and right, the air off that car sometimes will clean that paper off. It'll blow that paper off. So I don't even know if he knows it's there or not. If they're watching TV, they'll tell him and he'll get it off.
Still running well. 2.2 seconds in front of Gordon. Update on Jeff from Matt.
Bill, the difference between first and second, like you mentioned, is leveled off to be about a 2-second difference. Gordon was battling the sun in his eyes earlier. Now he's battling an ever-changing racetrack.
It isn't tight. I don't know what it is. Just all over the place. I'm trying to cool it down and see what happens. Something about this place when it starts to cool down, boy, it changes in a big way. 3 and 4 is not the same turn as it was.
And the latest thing that Gordon told his team, besides being tight in the center, now the car is extremely loose on exit, but he is running lap times about a 1/10 of a second faster than leader Casey Kane.
And this is what the guys in the garage were talking about. They were craving some kind of an evening practice session here, so you at least have some idea what your car was going to do.
Well, they know now.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting a feel of it anyway.
Casey Kane out front. Oh, just a nice cool evening here in Fontana, California. It's cooled off to 93 degrees. Track temperature, though, 128 down to 95.
That's a big jump. That's a lot.
Kurt Busch was the lucky dog. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the race leader. 72 to go. Jeff Gordon restarts 25th after loose lug nuts on his pit stop in the second trip down pit road.
Got quite a few guys on that bottom lane that are a lap or more down. See Biffle down on the bottom right there, trying to get on the lead lap.
Before the first car scored off the lead lap, there are 26 cars on the lead lap. Casey Kane looking at that high groove that Earnhardt's been using. An update on the 9th.
And looking to get the lead back here, Bill. Remember, Casey Kane shuffled all the way back to 24th place by the too fast entering pit road speeding penalty on the lap for 155 pit stop. I talked to his team director, Kenny Francis, about the right side tire only call on this pit stop. He said, we debated 2 or 4. When we saw the 8 car just get 2, that made our decision for us. They've got their track position back. Now they want the lead.
Both those cars just 2 tires on their pit stop.
Man, he had a run getting off of turn 2, and right now he's got the lead. He's got the 5-car push behind him. Casey Kane needs to slide up the racetrack a little bit to hold that spot. He's got it. He loses 2 spots in that lap.
Kane doing a little drifting up the track there.
And there's lots of it.
Kyle Busch looking low. Can't quite get there.
Oh, Casey Kane with a sideways there off of 2. Wasn't it 89 earlier? He went from 89 points out of 10th to 9 points out of 10.
Yeah. Helped by that 2-tire stop, baby.
It's just going to show you the difficulty in trying to figure out these races. Here were guys on top of the world earlier, down in the dumps in the middle, back on top, and we've still got, what, 70 laps to go? Who knows how this thing's going to turn out in another hour or so.
One guy wondering that same thing drives that 24 car, Alan. And where is he? There he is, behind that mess.
22nd spot, but a lot of traffic in front of him. And he was, you know, he was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Now he's a second slower than the lap times Casey Kane's run.
This is for the lead. Kyle Busch.
Boy, Biffle is doing everything he can to try to get on that lead lap.
Easy now, bud.
And he is on the lead lap right now.
Had to pit with a tire problem under green. That's how Greg fell off of the lead lap. He's 27th, the first car 1 lap down.
It's on the lead lap now.
Right, when they get back to the scoring loop, he will be back on the lead lap in front of the race leaders. The 5 and the 9 racing for the lead. You could see this for years to come in Nextel Cup racing. Now Biffle officially is the 27th car on the lead lap. And he's out front.
Yeah.
So he's got clean air and a good car.
And these guys are racing each other.
Right.
So that's going to help him. He's hoping they'll continue to do that. But he's got a long way to come around. I mean, obviously, he's looking for a yellow.
Again, the ticker at the top of the screen. Green cars are in the chase. Yellow are on the bubble. Red are locked out. When the checkered flag falls at Richmond next Saturday night, we'll know the drivers that will be eligible for the 2006 Nextel Cup Championship. Looking for Jeff Gordon. There he is, right next to Mark Martin. Trying to squeeze it down low. Mark drifted up in front of Casey Mears.
Matt? Back on lap 1 1:78. He restarted in 25th, quickly making his way back to the front. Air pressure adjusted by Letarte and company, trying to tighten up the race car on exit. He was close to working by the 6 of Martin, just couldn't quite do it. Marty?
That Mark Martin and company are a little surprised the racetrack has not gotten tighter for them. They restarted in the 21st position. Currently, they're running 18th. The racetrack still too loose for Mark. They made several changes on the last stop, trying to give him a little more rear grip in that 6 car.
Anyway, I think we saw that last night through the Busch race. Guys were expecting the track to get tighter, and it didn't for a lot of those guys. Their cars started out loose, and they stayed loose.
Boy, all night they were loose.
Yeah.
This is for 4th. Earnhardt Jr. is 4th. Kenseth is 5th. Denny Hamlin in that 11 car. 3rd in line is 6th. And right in front of them, Scott Riggs, who in that 10 car with a 2-tire stop. There's Riggs. 4th last week, Dave, in a pit road gamble that's paying off so far for the 10.
When they raced earlier this season at Michigan, sort of a sister track to this, they were working on an experiment on the body to help the 9 team. It didn't work, so they didn't use it on the 9. And when they came here, they brought a car they really, really liked as far as the shape of the body, what they thought it would do in the clean air. It's run great tonight. And as you mentioned, a 2-tire stop to give him even more track position on the last stop.
Got him out of traffic, was 19th when the caution came out. Now Scott Riggs runs 3rd behind Kyle Busch and Casey Kane. Casey Kane is the race leader here in California. 15 laps to go. He leads by 6 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Then it's Elliott Sadler, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin.
Now, I would think he'd just come in for a couple of seconds worth of fuel in order to make it to the finish. You don't need much.
Matt Kenseth came, and Robbie Reiser called for 2 right side tires. They had a problem with the right front, took a long time, and that cost Kenseth a lot of position.
And that's something that he can't afford to do right there. You know, Matt can.
Right, because he's already locked into the chase.
Right, but Casey Kane can't, so I'd be real interested to see if these guys take on rights or just fuel. I would think just gas.
Right now, Casey Kane 11th in the championship standings, 39 points out of 10th. The top 10 drivers make the chase. Casey Kane is the race leader. Kane has led 127 of the 236 laps tonight. Won here last night. Matt Kenseth swept Bristol last weekend. Kane trying to sweep California. Kevin Harvick on pit road. Another guy trying to lock up his spot in the chase. He could do it by finishing 3rd or better tonight. Dave, what's his strategy?
Loose in the corner, tied off. They're going to put 2 right side tires on. This is considered early enough to take advantage of the new rubber, Wally. I think that's why guys are doing it, like the 17 car, because now they're running and trying to run faster laps, and the guys who will start late, not take on any rubber, and run slower laps.
I see what you're saying, Dave, but I just don't. I mean, you're losing an extra 5 or 6 seconds on the racetrack by putting those tires on. But more importantly, you can make a mistake.
Right, which the 17 bunch appeared to do. Matt Kenseth is scored in 22nd, first car off the lead lap. Right behind him, Jimmy Johnson. Alan, here comes the 9.
Yeah, here's where all the pressure is on the driver now, Bill. Get down to the speed limit before that commitment line there. Don't speed down pit road despite your excitement at trying to win the race. Get smoothly to a stop in your stall. Then the pressure transfers to the crew. They're going to make a right side tire change on this 9 car and put some fuel in it. Then the pressure back to the driver. Get smoothly out of the pit stop. Get up to speed. Don't speed. And get back up onto the track as quickly as you can on those fresh right side tires. So far, so smooth for Casey Kane. He's into his pit stall. Right side tires and fuel. They're telling him to go when the jack drops from the tires, not to wait on the fuel. Tire changers around the front of the car and a mat.
And it's a fuel-only stop for Jeff Gordon. He only needed about 3.5 to 4 seconds of fuel. No tires for the 24. AB.
Right side tires for Kyle Busch. Down and away. We'll see Denny Hamlin in this lap. Look for him to take fuel only. Matt.
And the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. on his way down to his pit stall. They have tires on the wall. Possibly just fuel only, though, for the 8. The 20 is Stewart. Right side tires only. They are going to go tires on the old Dale Earnhardt Jr. slid in his pit box. Fortunately, did not slide through it. The car is at an angle. Luttrod, he's finally away, Marty.
Mark Martin has already left pit road. He was struggling with those tires that were on the car, so he wanted 2 fresh right side tires and the fuel to make it all the way to the end. No chassis changes.
7.3 seconds on the stop for Kane, 8.7 on the stop for Earnhardt, 4.9 seconds on the stop for Gordon. Carl Edwards makes his way onto pit road. 11 laps to go. Edwards gives up the lead to come down pit road. Matt?
Bill Carl was one of those drivers that took the 2 right side tires for the gamble on his way down to his pit box, the sign waving up and down. Let's see if he too goes for the tires. They were going back for fuel only for Edwards. Just a quick splash. He's away.
Just before we went back to green, under the caution, Clint Boyer, Reed Sorensen, Casey Mears, among the drivers that topped off. Hearing that Sorensen plans to stay out. We heard that Mears plans to go to the finish. There's Sorensen. Dave Burns.
They radioed to Reed, buddy, we're staying out. We're going to win this thing.
And he said, no, I need to come in for tires, right?
No, he said that putting on tires would delay his run to victory lane there, Walt.
Okay.
Wow, Reed Sorensen out front with 9 to go.
Nobody around him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, yeah. I don't know. I'm just surprised at some of those tire changes there.
I'm with you. Reed Sorensen looking for his first NASCAR Nextel Cup Series win. Jimmy Ellich, his crew chief. Drives for Chip Ganassi, Felix Sabates. Dave, you down there?
Yep, this is a brand new race car for them this weekend. It's run very strong. He's running the top 15 all night. But this was a gamble that paid off on fuel. And gosh, didn't the Chip Ganassi car maybe in the Busch Series take a fuel gamble earlier this year and win?
Yeah.
It was a 42 of Casey Mears.
Yep, I was at
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicagoland. Thought you were fading out on us there, Dave, but glad you're still there. 7 laps to go. Reed Sorensen is just 20 years old from Peachtree City, Georgia. Sorensen leads. An update on Casey Kane in 4th from Allen.
Yeah, Bill, even though he may not get the win tonight, if this fuel mileage gamble pays off for some of these other drivers, Casey Kane and his team wanted to come in here tonight, run all the laps, get a top 5 finish if they could. They got bonus points for leading and leading the most laps tonight, and they're going to finish ahead of all of those guys they are chasing in the race to the chase. So provided things go well for these next 6 laps, exactly what they needed to accomplish tonight for Casey Kane in the 9 car, even if they're disappointed at not winning.
It is a great finish for him, but they're going to lose this race like they won it last night.
Right, but they may not. I think these guys, it's going to be a lot closer for these guys.
You think so?
Yeah, than it was for him last night. Right now it's Sorensen, J.J. Yaley, and Clint Boyer running the top 3. Kane is 4th, 9.8 seconds behind Sorensen.
Yeah, but he's only a second and a half behind second place Yaley.
Right.
So he's going to, Kane will probably pass Boyer and Yaley, who's second and 3rd spot. And then Reed Sorensen, if he does run out of gas, then Kane's right there. What are they saying, Dave, on the 18?
Dave? We've lost him.
He did follow that. All right, so there we got J.J. Yaley there, the 18 car in 2nd place. Casey Kane now takes over 3rd spot from Clint Boyer.
Sorensen. 4 to go this time.
Now, if they told him, I don't know what they've told him, because if
save fuel and go
around.
fast.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's exactly right. Dave, if they told him, okay, you got fuel, go for it, or we're just going for it?
Go for it and pedal easy.
Okay.
Now, we've had a discussion about long gears before. What does pedal easy mean, Wally?
You and your long gear.
Save fuel. Save fuel, Reed. You can make it, but save some. J.J. Yaley on pit road. Sorry about that earlier. They were short, and they just stopped for a second here and threw fuel into the 18 car.
Casey Kane has made his way to second, as Wally said he would.
And he was a second a lap faster than Reed Sorensen. That's not going to be enough, but
Only 3 to go.
But if this guy bobbles just a little bit, Reed Sorensen, Casey Kane's going to be there to pounce, Alan.
And he just came on his radio, Wally, and asked his team director, Kenny Francis, is the 41 going to make it? And Kenny's answer was, I don't know. I don't know.
I just saw a car down low. I'm not sure who that was, but that could have been somebody running out of fuel.
J.J. Yaley. More on Sorensen. Dave.
Okay, new definition for pedaling. They said, Reed, pedaler good, pedaler big. Here comes the 9 car. I guess pedaling means drive hard.
Well, you may as well, because you're not coming in.
Stanley, still got 6 seconds, 2 more to go.
So obviously they made a decision. They're going to run out or they're going to win this thing trying. So
See if it'll pick up.
don't worry about that long gear is what I'm saying, Dave.
Reed Sorensen, just 1 top 5, 5 top 10s
he's out of gas.
this year.
He's out of gas.
Where's out of gas, Jimmy?
And watch Casey Kane come roaring by in that red car. They gambled and lost. Casey Kane to the lead and will come to the white flag this time. And there's not even a threat behind him.
And they did what they talked about earlier in the race, or earlier today. Just go out and win the race. Let everybody else do whatever they got to do. This is what these guys need to do to even have a shot at making the chase.
Won 4 of the first 15 races this year, but has struggled since. Tonight, he has led 129 laps of this 250-lap race. This is the final lap. Casey Kane came in here 11th in the championship standings, and as Wally said, he's going to beat everybody and put himself in position to make the chase next week at Richmond. Earnhardt goes to second. Casey Kane comes off of turn 4. He won last night in the Busch race. Casey Kane sweeps at California.
Good run for Earnhardt Jr.
And Clint Boyer.
Yeah, those guys. Earnhardt's going to feel a lot better after tonight with his record here in Fontana going into Richmond next Saturday.
Well, those guys worked hard.
See, Dylan Sherritt wound up with a top 10 spot.
He was another car that topped off. Unofficially, Kane 11th in the championship standings right now. 27 points out of 10. No driver clinched tonight. But Matt Kenseth has assumed the championship lead by 16 points over Jimmy Johnson. To pit road, and here is Matt Yoakum.
Every win is special, but every win is important. As they put Kenny Francis, Big Tank Probus. Kenny, can you describe how important this win is for this team tonight?
That's the biggest win of the year so far. You know, we got to race our way into this thing, and tell you what, the guys did a great job. Casey did an awesome job driving tonight. Just unbelievable. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. That's great.
Any question what this win means to this team, I think, was just answered. Congratulations. Could you have imagined this night going as well as it did? One section accepted. Could you imagine the night turning out like it did?
Not really. This was an unbelievable night to fall down a lap there. I just got over the speed limit. I didn't even notice it. I think it was just that close. We were right on the edge, and these guys fought back, had great pit stops. Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge Charger was really fast all night, and we got better when the sun went down for sure. I just can't thank this team enough. They worked their butts off trying to get us back in this chase, and this is the only way we can do it, is to lead the most laps and win a race, and at least it'll give us hope at Richmond next week.
When you got the penalty and were shuffled back to 24th, was there ever a thought of, okay, it's over tonight?
No thought at all. I was all out, man. We had to get back to the front, and Kenny did 2 tires. I think I passed about 10 cars, and then we did 2 tires and went from 12th to the lead, or to second behind Junior, and then battled by Junior and led some laps. So awesome engine, Evernham engine, the best engine I've ever had, and just everybody that supports this team, Stanley, McDonald, Siemens, the UAW, they're all great people. Hopefully we can make the chase for them.
You're now 11th in points as you were, but you're now just 30 behind 10th place going to Richmond. A thought?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how far we'd be back, but you know, 30's a lot closer to 90, and could have been a lot worse than 90. So it's a big jump. Anything can happen at Richmond. It's going to be a wild race there, and hopefully we're on a good side of things. We got 5 wins. That's the most out here.
Congratulations on a great night.
Thanks a lot.